things inside the crypto market does seems like it is changing. The opinions and the thought process is changing. And some like Patrick but David, when they actually give you this question, asking to a BTC Maxi, like to you, is Ripple and XRP the same thing? And this guy don't even understand the difference and literally don't understand how this thing works in this world. It is really important to look at all these different nodes which is coming out from the around the globe. It is clear that it is built into most instant payment system as best practice these days. What are they talking about? They are talking about something which is important, which gets connected around the globe. Now, you go learn from a lot of these researchers who are publishing research articles on journals. Now, you read through that and you are like, wow, that's mind-boggling if you really understand what the Interledger protocol can do and is doing, right? So the Interledger can route even your Bitcoin stuff, which the Lightning Network cannot afford to do because it's not sustainable. And even other projects like Cosmos, which can do things way better than other projects, can also use this thing here. And that's what makes it super important, right? And why is that used? Because they already have their own platform, right? That is what makes it super important, because the payment goes into rail. It's the message and the settlement. That's where it really gets interesting for anyone who is holding on to XRP, because that's the utility part. That's where this comes in, right? Utility is solving the real life problem at a scale, and that's what XRP does. So long term, the price is going to match the value. The hard part is, in the meantime, you are looking at all these things evolving. This is right now from UK, right? So as I saw the news, I'm like, okay, things are evolving. But you do get news like these two coming into the market. I'm like, okay, this is one of the biggest mass media out there giving you that narrative you are about to drop. So now the question goes inside you like, okay, they are conveying the message it's going to drop. So you're like, okay, I go back to the charts. I'm looking at this, trying to learn from the market. It gives me a perspective of a double top. Fine, we broke lower here. We are right now close to 50%. So doing another 70% drop from here technically does not make any sense in reality. But yes, there are some assets which is causing some concerns that it can drop further, and it's an exchange token, so that can also have serious conflicting information from those who are inside that. But we saw the same from Celsius, FTX, with the Luna collapse and all that. So if you are here in the market, be concerned of everything. If your money is completely in an exchange, that's a red flag with what's happening right now. So make sure you hold on to your asset and you do understand what's happening. We talked about this pattern, like we came through this to the downside, we went up. So what is the market doing right now? What's the odds which the market suggests you? Because some of them does not really look good, right? And that's an exchange token, and that can hit you hard if you don't understand what's coming ahead. Because before a big run up, usually we get a large capitulation. We were talking about this and we are waiting for this. And what is it? That's what we are going to break down here. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of the world. Now, this is from Reuters, giving you that understanding like, okay, yeah, both of these parties are trying to get out of this case. It's been so long and it's tiring. But I'm like, okay, Ripple founders created XRP in 2012, but is that correct? For the company Ripple, XRP was gifted. We know that. So now the question is, Ripple is a company which was renamed from OpenCoin in 2015. So Ripple did not exist in 2012, technically speaking, right? It came in 2015. It was OpenCoin before that. Now there is a change in the leadership, there is a change in the team, everything was different. So you go through any news, make sure you also do check the facts, because a lot of these are just right, rubbish. Now you come here, you see a lot of adoption going on for Hyperledger, and you also see Hyperledger Quilt, which is interoperability ledger used for interledger protocol. That is really important, because whatever we are reading here shows you that it is going to be a consensus mechanism for public and private blockchains. And this way, the cross-chain, cross-blockchain, movement of value and messages, it is going to be executed. And this is one of the biggest stuff where you see like the hybrid connectors are being used to leverage, and one of which is interledger protocol, which is from, the thought process of connecting XRP ledger as a payment mechanism. So as you read through this, he or she can rely on interledger protocol as a payment rail. For what? Even for Cosmos. Then, if using currencies like Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, interledger router can route these transactions as a payment channel. Example, Lightning Network. So even for Lightning Network, when it is having hard time, they can completely rely on this infrastructure to work, providing more trustful interaction. Yeah, Lightning Network right now is going to be hard. So right now we are talking about a bridge to connect through these friction, which even exist in the cryptocurrency market, even though they built these to reduce the friction, right? Then you actually come in and look like, what they are doing and how this is evolving. So once you understand, what's happening behind them, what they are building, and how the adoption cycle is going, that is like the one of the best, biggest thing on earth. We talked about this article before, so we are now going to break that down. We did that before, but it gives you the idea of how reinforcing it is to see the level of adoption. Yes, the price is still here. You don't see a $40, $100 XRP. It's still at 0.4 or below that. But the reality of it is the market has been giving you fear, uncertainty, doubt from a lot of different perspectives. But right now, look at this. This is not something really great, right? Because you are looking at $80 trillion, which is, debt, and dollar denominated debt, which is in the form of FX swaps. So now imagine it's $80 trillion, and what's the size of these economies? US is 30, China is like 14, 15 trillion. So you don't really get to this level, even including the GDP. So right now, one of the biggest trouble all these modern economists is they will have to follow history. They will have to wipe off everything and start from a clean slate. What is that new ecosystem going to be? What is that new infrastructure on which these CBDCs will be built on? Because they literally will have to. Right now, when you actually see like, okay, in US, they can't even understand where $2 trillion went. And they are literally running behind your $600 Venmo payment, right? And this kind of gets even sarcastic, right? This guy out there is still free, happy, living a good life, when a lot of people lost money. I happened to talk to a guy, whose friend actually had money in FTX, and he was in our Patreon. He was able to get out early because we told 2 months before that there is something bad. And the other guys who were stuck in that exchange, they lost it all. So one of the reasons why I say this is if you are in an exchange and everything is in that just one exchange, that can be causing pain to you at one point. So make sure you hold your asset in your wallet, in your ledger, or at least in multiple different exchanges. It's better that way. Now, this is CRO. Now, I'm not in that exchange. I'm out. Why? This was trending higher, which is a good news. It broke lower after that here, which is a major macro breakout to the downside. Now, when you're breaking to the downside like that, technically speaking, this is your downside, right? You are looking for an 80% downside after the break. Fine. So you broke it down here and you're plotting that 80% and it comes somewhere close like this. And if you take it from the current price or the recent bottom which you put in, you still have like 40% to the downside, which is not that great on a price perspective. The only thing which is good here is the price is still inside a channel. So this is your direction, this is your channel. Most likely you may continue to the upside. But when you break this to the upside, if that happens, now the question is, can you get back into this trend, or are you going to get rejected here or here itself? If you get rejected here, now you're going for another low. It's going to be really bad. So make sure you understand these things which exist in the market, because uncertainty can cause investors to run out. Here you observe what's happening right now, right? Kevin O'Leary is actually talking about how he wants his money back. They are literally waiting on the sidelines to see where their money went so they can take it back. And it's not only them. Right now, he's talking about different institutions who believed FTX as an institution and put their money in. Then here, you're looking at Patrick Bet-David and such an individual, who is like, okay, I hold Ether, I don't hold Ripple or XRP. But why do you think they went after XRP, not Ether? And I'm like, okay, he's starting to get this. Now, this is a big guy, right? And if he's starting to understand that, that means he's going to spend time and get a clear perspective of what is happening. Now, once these guys get it, they discuss with each other, right? The big guys on that league table, they're going to have a discussion, which is going to be great, because once they take time, we all know that it is just 10-20 minutes of your research, which gives you the broad perspective of this is what's being built. This is happening. And that's not the small thing, because the world is like, you may have different political opinion, but the world is not that great place right now. Even though we see now, for example, before I jump into that, I actually saw like a tweet from Jack actually, and I'm like, boom, great, wow. So what's the first thing? Okay, great. What's the next thing? Great. So you go in that article, you try to read through that line by line to see what really pushes you back towards XRP, basically. So the talk about the entire UK becoming the global hub for the crypto industry is actually a great sign. I completely agree on that. But this one does not actually go through the other ways, right? You still need more regulations there, and they are working on that, which is actually great. So the Pound Foundation, when they are coming out with something, this goes in. Now, the word stable coin, here they are being used to link it to a highly liquid traditional asset such as dollar or pound. So they're not actually really talking about a stable stuff. They're talking about something linked with this. So we really don't know what they're talking about. It can be an SDR or in that form or something made into that direction. This will come out once we have that clarity, right? So we are all looking at how things are evolving. Great. Negative news is always there. And when they give it this kind of negative news, at a time when the price, from the top, if you're actually pulling this down, from that top, you're 80% down. Now they're saying we are going to drop another 70%, which is like, okay, 70%, literally, that's what you're talking about? Great. Now you go back down. Okay, what's that $5,000 mark like? It's here. So you put in one low here, technically, and then you put in another low, which you happen to be just a long week down, and most of the buying happened here. Great. This was your basic support. This was just a wick lower. Now, they're talking the price is going to come even below that. So right now, you'll have to go through this level, which it did. Then you'll have to go to this level. You don't have that much amount of sellers in the market unless it's like, okay, this 4 people are the Satoshi. Now you can hold this asset. Institutions drop it. El Salvador drops it. Everyone drops it. Now it's going to zero, not 5,000. So if that's the case you're talking about, the world is ending tomorrow or this ecosystem is going down tomorrow, most likely there is no sense in holding any of these assets, at least for next 1 year. But the world does not end tomorrow. That's not how investing works. You do not look at the world and say it's going to end tomorrow, because if it is ending, then there is no point in investing into something like that, right? That's where utility comes in. And we have seen a lot of assets which dropped 99%. And some of these actually indicates like, okay, we have this pattern evolving. We are observing this. Now, it's not confirmed yet. I agree, we are here. We need to literally see that extending all the way back up, which is a double bottom pattern after three-wave structure. If you are looking at these structures like Ether, you're still inside this resistance. We have not yet broken to the upside, but we are not making a new low here. So if we break this to the downside, okay, it's a bad sign. But based on what we observe in the XRP, at least it is showing you a stable support area where the price is bouncing from. So another test of this low, and if that happens to make a higher low, we are going to observe the price bouncing and breaking through this level. For that to happen, you literally will have a ton more patience, because the way the narrative is being sold into the market, it's like just pushing in more fear. At a time when we are literally waiting for the CPI, the rate hikes, and how much they're going to hike and what narrative they're going to give. If they're giving a 50 and saying, okay, we are most likely doing a 50 next time, okay, we may go higher, but not that much. But if they give like, we are going to do a 50 next time, we're going to do a little bit, the market will digest it like, okay, that means next time it's going to be 30, 35, which means the market is going to turn back up and run. You are looking at the market and you are like, okay, these assets are slowly turning bullish. You see like the dollar is getting hammered. It's doing the retest, agreed, but it's dropping strong, which is actually good news for the entire market. So guys, if you're in the market, have patience and be rewarded for that. Patience is the hardest part. If you sell and the market goes up, it's done. If you have patience and other guys sell because they are impatient and then the market goes up, they lose, you win, right? If you receive value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And if you have 3 to 5 more minutes more, please do visit this channel of mine and watch these videos and inform me how you feel. That's it for today, guys. I'll meet you on the next video. Bye-bye.